All right, welcome back. I just got done reviewing the Rinsekit Pro. Interesting results, to say the least. So if you want to know why you may not want to get the Rinsekit Pro, go watch the past video. Link should be right here or in the description. Okay, that's good enough. We're not going to do any longevity testing of how long the water will run for because there's no need. I already did that in the last video when I reviewed this. If you want to know about those numbers, go watch that video. If you don't care about that, that's why we're just focusing on the heater. Hey, it's Andrew Bocher with GY6 Outdoors, back again with another Rinsekit review video. Rinsekit, I've been doing a series. I started off with the Rinsekit Pro. It is the main housing of all the water and the pump to allow you to spray water and take a shower. In the outdoors, you have options. You can get into a creek or a river or a pond or a lake, but all those things have something in common. It's freaking cold usually, and nobody wants to take a shower in cold water. Now, granted, there's a lot of, hear me roar macho men trying to jump in ice baths nowadays to prove how strong they are. I personally think it's fantastic to jump in cold water for your overall health, but to prove yourself as worthy is kind of stupid. And when I'm taking a shower, I want hot water. I want warm water to relax. It makes it so much nicer. So we are reviewing the Rinsekit Hyperheater today. The Rinsekit Pro pumps water through the Hyperheater, and then the Hyperheater pumps out the hot water through a new attachment hose that comes with the Hyperheater. So let me go over all the components that come with the Hyperheater. If you want to see the other Rinsekit videos, you can click right here on the screen or a link in the description. I'm not sure if all videos are live yet, but they should be going live fairly consecutively on my channel. That way they're all out there, but they're individualized because some people may just want to hear about the heater. Some people may just want to hear about the Rinsekit Pro. Some may want to hear just about the shower shelter or the shower tent in itself. So I've separated them all into 3 different videos. So the Hyperheater itself, fairly lightweight. It's got a little bit of weight to it, not too bad, but it comes in a fairly large box, and I was kind of concerned that it might be just an overbearing, cumbersome device, but it's not. It actually is pretty well compact, and it does come with an awesome carrying case, which is cool. And it's got a hard bottom to it, a little bit of rigidity as well, and you have mesh pouches as well as side pouches for your accessories. Now let's go over those accessories real fast. Obviously you're getting a new hose that's gonna be coming with this because you'll be unplugging one from the Rinsekit Pro and then rerouting it to this, and then this hose will be coming out of the Hyperheater into the new nozzle, and that was what's gonna allow it to run. So it does come with this extra decently long hose. I'm not sure how long it actually is, but let's just do a quick measurement, a rough measurement. So roughly from holding something with your palm of your hand, wrapping around your elbow and coming back up to your hand is roughly 3 feet. So let's do it again, all the way down to the elbow, up to the hand and slightly past it. So just about 6.5 feet of new hose. So roughly 6.5 feet of new hose, which is good. Just keep that in mind. Attachment, this attaches to a standard Coleman propane tank or any other propane tank you can get your hands on. Screws into here like this. Very simple and self-explanatory. And then this fixture screws into the back side of the Hyperheater. Once you screw that in, you'll have now propane going into the unit to heat the water. You also have power cables. You have 2 different options. You have regular, car input power you can plug into the back of the unit itself for power, or you can plug this into the Rinsekit Pro because the Rinsekit Pro has a charged battery into it. Then you have your typical wall plug that you can use to plug into any type of AC power, and you'll be good to go there. Plug it in the back of the unit the same way, gives it power. It comes with these 2 little attachments. One's a Velcro hook and loop. It allows you to wrap it around the new shower head and then attach this to, say, a tree limb or anything you want to wrap it on. And then you have this hook that has a suction cup on the backside. But these suction cups suck. You and I both know these suction cups never want to stick. They don't do what they're supposed to do. No matter how hard you try, the surface has got to be perfect glass with no issues on it whatsoever for it to actually hold. Also, it comes with a new shower head. This shower head's different. Apparently, it's better for the hot water heater. But I will say all the fixtures that come with both the Rinsekit Pro and the Hyperheater, they're plastic fixtures. There's plastic everything inside of it. So I know over time they're probably going to have an issue. They're probably going to wear out. And I'm not a fan of that. It kind of sucks. It looks like you can unscrew this Yeah, probably not. I don't want to mess with it. It looks like you might have to replace the whole hose if one of these fixtures goes bad. This is mainly an overall review of the product and how it works. Long-term review, I'm going to have probably 6 months from now. I want to make sure to use this thing a good amount of times before I tell you yay or nay if it's worth buying. But this video will let you know what it does and how it does it, and what I think out of the box. That doesn't mean it's gonna work for a long period of time. There are a lot of plastic parts that can go bad. It could get a little fragile from being in the sun too often, who knows? I wanna see how long these braided hoses last too. This is a braided hose, plastic braided, obviously not metal braided, but it does allow for dexterity in the hose, allows it to move around quite a bit and not have to worry about a ton of kinks, which would suck. You can kink it and you're fine, but this prevents it from kinking, which allows for more consistent flow. But I'm just not a fan of everything being plastic or just quick detach. I wish they had a metal component that you can pay a little extra for and have upgraded metal components in certain areas that would have wear and tear, but they don't, so keep that in mind. There is an on-off switch, so you can turn on and turn off the flow of water, but it states that in the manual you should not turn off the flow of water when the hyperheater is running, because it'll cause a backflow and cause the unit to go into like a standby mode until you let the water run for 5 seconds. It prevents the unit from overheating. Other information it says, this is what I was talking about, it says when you shut off the nozzle, the hot water inside the heater may cause the cutout light to illuminate. So it says keep shower nozzle in on position during use. Turning the nozzle off and on repeatedly will cause an overheating and will trigger the cutout warning. So I guess you just have to have it keep running or else it cuts out. I personally, it sounds like it just cuts itself out. So it's like pausing itself. And then when you're ready, you can turn it back on for 5 seconds and then the heat starts going again. So the water in the line will probably still be pretty warm for 5 seconds. It may get a little cold depending on how long it takes you to sud yourself up and wash yourself, but it sounds like it's gonna be okay to turn it off because I don't wanna waste water. It just means that the cutoff warning is gonna click on and the heater's gonna shut off. So you might have a weird thermal change in the overall temperature, but the water in the line and inside the unit is still gonna be hot enough. So it's not gonna be too shocking, hopefully, depending on how long you pause and shut the water off for. The high temp cutout is designed to prevent the water from getting too hot. That way you don't scald yourself. Because it makes sense, you shut it off, the unit keeps going, the water gets super, super hot, and then you turn it on again and now you're, you got blisters on your face and your genitals. Not a good thing. I don't like the way they phrase it. It makes it sound like you can't shut off the water. They should just say, hey, when you shut off the water, the heater will shut off as well, and then the temp will start dropping. But when you turn it back on for more than 5 seconds, it'll kick back on again. It doesn't sound like it's a problem, it just means that you have that delay. I like the unit so far though. The unit is metal and stamped metal, it looks like. It's not anything high grade, it's not like 6061 aluminum or anything. It's a typical metal you would expect. Apparently it's supposed to heat very quickly, so we will see. I'm looking for that 100+ degree water pretty quick. On top you have your thermal regulator, so you can turn it up or down. I wish it was click. I wish it was a little clicky, like, you know, you just click, 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 click. The vagueness of where your temperature is at is kind of odd to me. I wish you can just go like, okay, my favorite temperature is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 clicks up in temp, or, you know, oh, it's too hot, 1 click down. You don't, it's like, kind of like a weird shower nozzle where you turn, you're not sure where that heat's at. And if you're already showering and the water's getting too hot, you have to constantly reach out and change it. But if you had clicks, you know you're right on the money every time. You know it's going to stay that temperature for you. On the back side of the unit, you have, well, also on the side of the unit, you have your vents. So this is venting the burned off propane. So make sure to use this device in a well-ventilated area because you are burning off propane to heat the water. You have your connect to rinse kit valve. This is going to have a hose going to the rinse kit. The rinse kit's going to be pumping water into this unit. It's going to heat it up. Water outlet connects to your shower hose. So this hose will be connected to this, and this is what's going to pump out the hot water to you, which is nice. And then you have your gas inlet is where obviously the propane gets attached to, like we talked about. And then the bottom little red dot is where you plug your power source into. So that is the overall features of the Hyperheater. Now let's see how it runs. You know, before we're moving on, before this gets really wet and has a lot of water going through it, let's see how well it fits into this carrying bag, because I am interested in finding out. You have vents at the bottom to allow any extra water that may be coming out of the unit when you put it in here to drain out. And this zips up. Wow, look at that. All right, I like it. And then on the back, you have mesh netting. You can stick your hose in there. That way, if there's any remaining water, it'll leak out and not be inside the bag. Good job, Rinsekit. It fits well, and you don't have to use a shoehorn to get it in, which I like. A little frustrated about the Rinsekit Pro, but let's not get into that. Goose a proper review can't have bias in it, and that video is done and that review has been talked about, so moving on. So as Rinsekit states, you're gonna remove the nozzle here. So I'm gonna take some pressure off of this. Okay, so depressurized. I'm gonna pop this off. So once that nozzle is off, you take that line coming out of the Rinsekit Pro and you plug it into the back side of the Hyperheater. And it's this quick disconnect, just like anything else. You just push it in there, snaps into place, you hear it click, and make sure that nozzle is in the open position. Don't have it in the off position. So it's open because it's vertical. And then you take the extension cord or hose that came with the Hyperheater, plug this into the back side of the Hyperheater, and then you take your new shower head, plug it into that, and you're good to go. I'm not sure if that's on or if that's on. I can't tell. So you screw a typical Coleman propane tank onto the adapter. You don't have to over tighten these things, just enough. And you screw this portion onto the back of the Hyperheater until it's finger tight. Okay, snug. You take your power cable, plug that into the car cigarette lighter of the Rinsekit Pro. Okay, so that'll pull power out of the battery that's in the Rinsekit Pro that powers the water, and will be powering the Hyperheater. And you're good to go. So let's look on the front, see what this looks like. Hit power. So you're gonna prime the pump on this. Okay, so that primed everything up. The pump has pushed all the water through the lines into the Hyperheater. We're gonna turn the Hyperheater on. It's kind of hard to see. It's kind of weird because their gauges are like permanently on there. You see the fire symbol, you see the cutout symbol, you see the Fahrenheit symbol, but you have green numbers, but it's hard to see in bright light. Once you cover it up, you can see it. Right now, it's 81 degrees in temperature. It makes sense because it's about 85 degrees right now in ambient temperature. Say, for instance, you were in cold climate, say it's 35 degrees, 40 degrees outside, and you're trying to take a hot shower. Well, all that water you're gaining and getting has probably been sitting out, and it's really cold. It's probably 30, 40 degrees. So in order to save propane and save time and not waste water, first shut off the pump, take off pressure, obviously, let out some water. Okay, lets out some pressure there too. And then you disconnect the nozzle, lose some water there. But when you turn this on, you can pump water through the lines, through the Hyperheater. It's warming the water as we speak. When you turn the pump on, this is gonna spray water out, and you can spray that back into the holding tank. That way you're pushing hot water, so it was originally, say, 35, 40 degrees. Now it's pumping 85, 90 degree water back into the holding tank and continuously doing that cycle. So now you have hot water sitting in your holding tank, and you don't have to worry about losing water while you wait for it to warm up. You can open the lid like so, turn on the pump, and wow. Yeah, it's already getting hotter, and I have it on low. So you can just put that nozzle in there, and I want to see how fast you can hear that. You can hear that heater going. It's already at 106 degrees. 106 degrees that fast. 112, 113, 114, 115, 116, 117. I'm gonna turn it down. We shut this off. That's nuts. We got 116 degree temperature water like that. And I'm obviously pumping it through into this container. Yeah, the water's crazy hot right now. And not like in a scalding way. Not in a scalding way at all. Just, it's 115, 116 degrees. I did an earlier test with this and I wanted to figure out where the temperatures were from going from a regular temperature water up to a certain consistent water temperature, right? So right now we're at 116, so I can't redo that. But on low, you're getting about roughly 95 degree water. So it's gonna hold about a 95 degree temp. On medium, which is the dot in the middle, you're gonna get about 104, 105, maybe a little bit lower, maybe 102, right around there. On full temperature, you're getting 116, 117 degree temperature water, which is nuts. And if you keep recycling it, it's gonna get hotter and hotter. I don't recommend going over 120. The Rinsekit holding tank is not designed for any more than 120 degree temperature. So once you recycle and get the water up to 120 degrees, you technically don't even need the hyperheater on. This is very impressive. I'm blown away how hot this can get and how fast it got to it. The cutout aspect of it, I noticed you can shut it off and turn it on, and yeah, the cutout will happen, but what's happening is the burner inside the heating element is shutting off. It's no longer heating the water. So the water is gonna be flowing, and if your water temp in the holding tank is really cold, then you're gonna get 5 to 10 seconds of that cold water being sprayed onto you. So it behooves you to first cycle water through this back into the holding tank to bring it up to at least 90, 95. That way, if the cutout does happen, you're not gonna notice that much. It'll go from 110 to 95, but you're still gonna be fairly comfortable. So keep that in mind. The cutout's just to protect the unit from overheating the water and scalding you to death, which would be not fun. It's a good thing to have it cut out. At first I was confused, but now I get it. It probably will take you about a minute or two to cycle all the water through and get that temperature up to that desired temp. But once you're there, you can either shut off the hyperheater and just pump it through the unit without the hyperheater on, because it'll still work, as you just saw, and you don't have to worry about the cutout, or you can turn it back on low, and that'll keep a consistent heat. And if you do your system on and off and on and off to save water while you're showering, yeah, the cutout will happen, but the water's already at a very reasonable temp. So it's a smart way of doing it. I'm just blown away how fast this heats the water. I mean, I haven't experienced a single outdoor water heater that heats water that fast. I'm very impressed with the hyperheater. Had some issues with the Rinsekit Pro. You'll have to watch that video once again, links in the description. These reviews are honest reviews. They're straightforward. Yes, I got these products from Rinsekit. I've already talked about that in the Rinsekit Pro video. I got the shower shelter, shower tent that I'm gonna review tomorrow. It'll be live tomorrow, so stay tuned to that. Got that for free as well. But if the products don't perform, you're gonna hear about it. It doesn't matter what stuff I get given for free. It's gonna get an honest opinion no matter what. That's why it's called GY6 Outdoors. Got your 6 outdoors to test products and find out what they can and can't do and let you know before you spend your hard-earned money on something. Right now, the hyperheater is fantastic. I like this thing a lot. And I know a couple of the other shower units with pumps work with it, so it'd be fun. But time will tell. Rinsekit, I'm gonna get a hold of you and you'll probably be watching this video. There's 2 ways a company can respond to negative press or negative review. It's negative because it just performed negatively. That's all there's to it. You can shut me out like a lot of other companies do and be afraid for me to test something else because you don't want the honest truth to be out there, or you can work with me and we can be honest with the people that are buying your products. Simple as that. Honestly, if Rinsekit doesn't want me to review other stuff, I'll just buy their products with my own hard-earned money and buy it myself. And on that note, that is why Patreon is so important. Patreon is fan-supporting, fan-funding platform that allows fans and viewers to give $1 a month, $5 a month. There's a lot of people out there that blow my mind with their generosity, and they want high-quality productions. They want good, solid, honest reviews, and so they pledge money a month to help out. Patreon's gonna help me to be able to buy products from companies that are too afraid to have an honest review done of their product. It allows me to put money towards it and review that product. And when I don't have a need for the product, I am gonna give those products away to my patrons at patreon.com/GY6 Outdoors. There should be a link or something in the description and a title on the screen right now. Tomorrow's video is gonna be the Rinsekit shower shelter or shower tent. If it's already up, it'll be right here or in the description. Thank you so much for watching, guys. This is Andrew Bocher with GY6 Outdoors. I'll see you tomorrow. Later. Oh my goodness. Ah, that feels good. Woo. Yeah, baby. Oh, that's nice. That's real nice.